All right, so can you sell your property by yourself 100%? I've had a couple conversations with people today that are looking to sell their property off market. When I say off market, I mean they might have it listed for sale by owner on Zillow, or reaching out to some realtors individually and saying, hey, I would love to sell this for this price by this date. However, here's what a lot of people don't realize. So ultimately, there's a buyer for every property, especially depending on what price you list it at. There might be multiple buyers for it. If we don't let the buyers know about it, it's really hard to sell. Let me follow this up. So I tell a lot of people it's similar to a car auction. If you have a car auction or a cattle auction, or you're doing a auction for baseball cards, any of these are better with the more people, maximum exposure. And so if the property is not exposed to the world, if it's just on Facebook Marketplace, you've just got it posted on Craigslist, or you've told maybe a dozen realtors about it, it is for sale. And it's not exposed to the maximum amount of world. So going back to the auction theory, if you put your car on the auction and there's only 5 people at that auction, you're not going to get as much money for it if there were 500 people or if there were 5,000 people. And that's the key part, is that we've got to expose it to the world. So I'm doing this video here hopefully because I want to reach some people that hopefully get the message that we've got to do maximum exposure. You know, it's just like this video that I'm doing right here. If I wrote this down in text message and posted it on my Facebook page, let's say, I would get a few people that read it. If I put some pictures of the property or of this idea on my Facebook page, I would get a little bit more traction. But the key, the algorithms and all these social media websites and everything else like that is video. Video is king. And so if you're not doing videos of this property that's for sale, and you're not advertising it on the MLS, on the thousands of websites, Zillow, Realtor, BingBangBoom.com, it's really hard to maximize how many people are at that auction. So you might tell 5, 6 people, they might know a couple people, and that's great. However, we're not maximizing how many people have seen it. So if you take this back just a step and go, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put it on the market, but I'm only going to put text about it. You know, I'm only going to write, yeah, this is a beautiful house, has a creek running through it, 0.66 acres. That's okay, but not a lot of people are going to see that on your social media page. Now you amp that up a little bit and you put pictures on there, and people, oh, that's a really nice house with the creek running through it and everything. Now you put a video with the creek and it comes into the draw, and you've got this great spot and you've got a shop in the back and everything else like that. That's when you start to see maximum exposure. So there's a few things that you need to do. One, you can definitely list it with a real estate agent like myself. When I put it onto the MLS and through my brokerage, we have a distribution system, an IDX feed, and it goes out to all the places. You can list it for sale by owner on your own. I will tell you, if you don't know how Zillow works, dig into it a little bit. You didn't pay to put that property on for sale by owner on Zillow, and so they're not going to give you a lot of traction. And I've heard from a lot of for sale by owners complain that, yeah, I just get hundreds of calls from real estate agents, but the people that are actually buying homes aren't buying it. Now, I will tell you, homes do get sold for sale by owner. Again, you can bring 5 people to the auction and the car probably will sell. But the car will sell for a lot more if you've got 5,000 people. Some other options that you got if you want to go for sale by owner, Zillow's an option, Facebook Marketplace is an option. That's one of the favorites that I hear. Oh yeah, I put it on there, and I get tons of, is this still for sale? And you're like, yeah, it's a beautiful house, blah, 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 blah. And you never hear from that person again. You'll get dozens of those. That's fantastic. Build a website. Put in those, the SEO, the search engine optimization words and everything. Home for sale in Kellogg, Idaho. Home property for sale in Black Lake, Idaho, St. Mary's, Idaho. That will help, because when people go into, say, YouTube, and they're saying, how do I find a home for sale in Wallace, Idaho? Now that will draw to yours. And so if you have a website on there, now they can go over there, and you're not just waiting for the Zillow machine to push that out there. There are some other for sale by owner websites. I'm not positive of what all of those are, but you can do it on your own. I mean, you can hang a sign on your property, and you can put it in the newspaper. There's lots of different ways in our industry to spend money. If you're going to list for sale by owner, there are a little bit more better options that you can use for free, like just putting it on social media, again, with a video, not just photos. And a lot of opportunity is missed when you're not doing drone aerial photos and or videos. So that's another key point that I tell people. Besides just professional photos, get some aerial photos, get some drone footage. If you're close to a lake and you just write close to lake, that's good. Or you got pictures of the house and then you've got pictures of the lake, But if you've got a beautiful drone that's hovering right next to the house and it pops up, pans back, I mean, take a look at my videos down below. I do a ton of drone video. I strongly believe in this. Now, all of a sudden, when that drone pops back, they can still see your house, but now they can see the lake. They can see the beautiful territorial views. They can see the creek that runs up the mountain, whatever the opportunities may be around your property. So, can you sell for sale by owner? Absolutely. And now you're dealing with possibly the largest asset that you might sell this year or in your lifetime. So do you just want to leave it up to half button it and only putting 1% in? Or are you looking for maximum value where you really want to splash it out there and get the most money? You need to put in the effort, or hire a full service real estate agent like myself who can filter this. This is the other thing too. When you're talking to for sale by owners, as a buyer, you might be really savvy and you're just shooting the breeze with them, asking different questions. And as a seller, you might be really nice and answering those questions. You may be exposing yourself to opening up your motivation. For instance, you might share too much information, and now all of a sudden the buyer knows why you need to sell. Your grandma just died down in Florida and you need to be down there to help out grandpa, or you've got to be in Texas by June because your job is starting there. Right now, that heightened motivation could lead a buyer to shortchange you, lowball you, and they know that you need to sell it, and really you're not advertising to a whole lot of people, so they're thinking, man, I can take advantage of this. So by having a real estate agent like myself in place, that can help filter it. If you don't have a real estate agent in place, you can get this under contract and everything. I definitely would suggest that you, at minimum, talk to a lawyer before you finish this off. Lots of rules in your state, I'm here in Idaho, that you need to follow, like property condition disclosures, and marketing and everything else. The last thing you want to do is sell your property. Maybe you didn't get as much as you thought you should, or that you should have got, or whatever, but you needed to be in Texas by June, and now you're getting a call in August from the buyer's lawyer saying, hey, we're suing you because of X, Y, and Z. You didn't follow these policies, you didn't do the disclosures, anything else like that. With an agent, a lot of us, most of us, have errors and omissions insurance, we've been through the business. This is what I do full time, right? And so I can help you see what problems may come. Had a conversations many a times where I tell a seller, look, this is the best way to present this. I have seen these problems X, Y, and Z in the past, and I don't want you to be in those positions, right? So real estate agents are more than just a bad hairdo and talking head. Real estate agents, at least a good real estate agent, is there to help you along the way. If you're not going to get them, put some protection into place, for crying out loud. Get yourself a lawyer prior to closing on the property. Last but not least, one mistake that I see for sale by owners make all the time is crappy photos, right? And so we've talked about photos, how they're good. You should do videos and everything. Take the time to hire a professional photographer. Massive, massive, massive. The amount of times that people have lost money because they had really bad photos, it's 10 times over, right? So if you're going to do this on your own and you think, man, I don't want to pay that silly guy with the goatee on his face, take the time, build a website, hire the professional photographer, get someone out there, maybe that photographer does the drone videos, create a really nice video for that, market it on all the social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those, on your website, obviously, as well. Get it out there onto the for sale by owner websites and whatnot. Put your sign out on the property. When you get this under property or under contract, or when you're negotiating with a buyer, make sure you reach out to an attorney so that you can make sure. In our Idaho contracts right now, there's 53 negotiable terms. Who does what by when and for how much? And it's important that if a buyer, especially if they're being represented by either an attorney or a real estate agent, has brought you a contract that makes it very clear. If they say, hey, I'm going to give you $360,000 for your property, fantastic. Well, when is the earnest money turned in? When is the inspection due by? Who's doing the inspection? Is there going to be financing involved in it? What kind of financing? I mean, there's a lot of things that you as a consumer or a seller should know and make sure that the buyer's going to do. And by the way, if you're having to move down to Texas, we need to make sure that it gets closed by this date, and what measures are in place to protect you if it doesn't close by the time that you need to be down in Texas. Apparently, Texas is on my mind today. I don't know why. So, if you've got more questions, I'm always free for consultations to help for sale by owners or sellers investigate. Talk about the different nuances of what's best for them, because there's not a one-size-fits-all for selling real estate. However, at the end of the day, like I said, you might be selling the most expensive thing, the most valuable asset that you've sold this year or possibly in your lifetime, and you need to be protected and also make sure that you get the right amount of money. You got more questions? Hit me up. And if you like these videos, subscribe to my channel. Click the notification button so that you get dings every time I do a new video. DK knows the way.